If you love Disney princesses as much as we do, you're going to go gaga over this wicked fan art. Watch until the end to see how different artists around the world portray our favorite princesses. You'll hardly be able to recognize Rapunzel. Looking for something new and exciting to watch? Why not check out our friends over at Crafty Hackers? They'll teach you how to recycle old objects into new and improved ones. Now let's jump right into alternate stories of Disney princesses in other countries. Mogera. It's no secret that the feisty Mogera has a wicked backbone.
Nice shooting, Rex.
Which is why Hercules himself fell in love with her. Despite all of this, Meg is still one of the most underrated Disney princesses of all time. While she's originally from a Greek background, a Tumblr artist by the name of Let There Be Doodles decided to transform her into an ancient Egyptian. In order to make her look the part, he chose to change her small purple eyes into wide, dark brown eyes. In addition, he also added some dramatic eyeliner and eyeshadow to give her that edgy look she deserves. Mogera's new look was then completed with a short haircut and Egyptian garments. All in all, it's safe to say that Mogera is rocking her attire. While it would be interesting to see her appear in an Egyptian Disney movie, we do love her just the way she is in Hercules. Elsa. Elsa is one of the most loved Disney princesses of all time. And it isn't hard to see why. After all, the girl has magical powers. Elsa's character was inspired by Danish author Hans Christian Andersen's story, The Snow Queen. However, Elsa's ethnicity is said to be Norwegian. With the help of two amazing artists, Elsa's light hair and pale skin were transformed. Two Tumblr artists who go by the names of Julia JM15 and Anako-Art pooled their talents together to create an African version of Elsa. To do so, they darkened her skin, giving it a beautiful ebony glow. They also changed her eyes from blue to brown and gave her hair a more silvery tone. While both Elsas are beautiful in their own way, this rendition is simply gorgeous. Are you shocked by this dramatic transformation? If so, wait until you see what Princess Belle has in store for you. Merida. Princess Merida of Dunbrock isn't someone you want to mess with, and this is because she's quick on her feet and knows how to string a bow and arrow. This independent princess hails from Scotland, which is why it's usually hard to understand what she's saying.
Off the gathering! Would that kill them? You're the queen. You could just tell the lords the princess is not ready for this.
Once again, Tumblr artist Julia JM15 decided to give this Disney princess a wicked makeover. This time, however, she chose to reimagine her as biracial. Merida usually has flaming red hair, ample freckles, pale skin, and bright green eyes. A light dusting of freckles, and dark brown curly hair. All in all, it's easy to see that this is Merida. What isn't easy, though, is choosing which version we like best. Jane Porter. Tarzan's Jane Porter will always hold a special place in our hearts. Not only is she intelligent and adventurous, she's also extremely kind. Jane is said to be from an English background, which would explain her overall look. She can easily be recognized by her long brown hair, wide turquoise eyes, thin lips, and overall elegance. An unknown artist from Clip D uploaded a number of reimagined Disney princesses online, one of them being the Chinese version of Jane. In order to achieve the transformation, the artist changed Jane's brown hair to black. He also shortened her long hair and pinned it into a bun. Her peach skin was swapped for a light beige. The artist also narrowed her eyes and changed their color from turquoise to black. To finalize the look, Jane's clothing was swapped for a traditional Chinese gown. Can you recognize Jane after this startling makeover? We sure can't. Anna. Princess Anna of Arendelle is a sweet yet courageous character who always does the right thing. Just like her big sister Elsa, her ethnicity is inspired by the Norwegian people. Anna is easily recognized by her auburn hair, blue eyes, button nose, and light skin. Her appearance was altered by an unknown Clip D artist, who seems to have transformed her into an Italian princess. Anna's auburn braided pigtails were swapped for a dark brown color. Her blue eyes were then changed to a light hazel. Her peachy skin was bronzed over, and her eyes were slanted downwards. Princess Anna no longer looks Norwegian, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. In other words, both of these versions are simply adorable. Esmeralda. The Hunchback of Notre Dame isn't always the easiest Disney movie to watch. However, if there's one character who brightens up the plot, it's Esmeralda.
If I could do this, you wouldn't find me dancing in the streets for coin.
This gorgeous gypsy woman might have a few tricks up her sleeve, but in the end, she was a heart of gold. Since this movie takes place in France, many of us believe Esmeralda to be of French descent. However, she is actually half French, half Romanian. An unknown clip-D artist transformed her into a Middle Eastern beauty. To do this, he swapped her bright green eyes for light brown ones and gave them a new angle. Her black hair was pulled back and covered, however, a few strands of brown hair still peek through. Perhaps the biggest change in her appearance is her new outfit, which looks sophisticated and breezy. Ariel, The Little Mermaid, is a fairy tale as old as time. It was written by Danish author Hans Christian Andersen over 100 years ago. However, it was revamped from generation to generation for centuries before that. Disney's Little Mermaid is very different than its original. However, it still occurs off the coast of Denmark. Princess Ariel is easily recognized by her dark red hair, fair skin, and big blue eyes. Oh, and her green tail, of course. An unknown clip-D artist chose to give her a very special transformation. Ariel's skin was darkened by the artist, as was her red hair. Her blue eyes were swapped for green ones, and some jewels were added to her hairline. The Danish Ariel we all know was then transformed into an Indian Ariel. Both versions of our favorite mermaid are absolutely stunning. Don't you agree? Jasmine. Jasmine is by far one of the most awesome Disney princesses of all time. Not only does she speak her mind and take risks, she also shows how to be herself despite what others expect from her.
And your beard is so...
An unknown clip-D artist chose to give Jasmine and her most faithful sidekick a startling makeover. Jasmine is usually seen wearing her blue outfit, chunky earrings, and a jewel-encrusted headband. However, the artist behind this transformation chose to replace these items with African jewelry. Jasmine's long black hair, nose, eye shape, and skin tone was changed, making way for a dramatic makeover. Her hair was cut short and left natural, and her outfit was swapped for a traditional African kanzu. Jasmine wasn't the only one to undergo a transformation though. Raj, who is usually a tiger, was transformed into a big and beautiful lion. Belle. Princess Belle is a calm and intelligent character who wasn't looking for love. Fortunately, life had something else in store for her. Belle might be beautiful, but she doesn't have a shallow bone in her body. She's from a small French village, and she's known as one of the most gorgeous women in the 10-mile radius. A Tumblr artist by the name of Let There Be Doodles chose to reimagine Belle in a Middle Eastern light, and his efforts paid off. Belle's chestnut brown hair and eyes were changed to dark brown. In addition, her pale skin was also darkened a few shades, as was her lipstick. Belle's eyebrows were thickened and narrowed downwards, which sort of gives her a Princess Jasmine vibe. If this transformation shocks you, wait until you see what Cinderella looks like. Snow White. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs might be an excellent Disney movie.
Oh, how silly of me. I'm Snow White.
But it can sometimes be a little scary. After all, Snow White is chased into the forest by a huntsman who plans to end her young life. It may be hard to imagine Snow White looking any other way, but Tumblr artist Let There Be Doodles had no issues reimaginating her. The artist chose to give the fair Snow White a Spanish look, and we're glad that he did. The young princess's white skin received a sun-kissed glow. Her hazel eyes were darkened and makeup was added to her face. Her hair was slightly curled and pulled back by a gorgeous red flower, and finally, her dress was transformed into a wine red Spanish gown. This makeover makes Snow White look 10 years older than she really is. Aurora. Tumblr artist Let There Be Doodles is at it again, and this time he's fixed his gaze on Princess Aurora. Sleeping Beauty is one of the most well-known Disney princesses of all time, which is why she deserves a makeover of her own. Aurora is known for having long blonde hair, purple eyes, pink lips, and an elegant schoolgirl attire. Let There Be Doodles completely revamped her style by giving her puffy sleeves and a deeper neckline. On top of this, the artist also changed Aurora's Caucasian background to an African one. Her hair was swapped for dark brown dreads, and her purple eyes took on a light hazel tone. Aurora's overall look may have drastically changed, but one thing remains the same: she's still as beautiful as ever. Tiana. Princess Tiana is gorgeous beyond belief.
Suppose you want a kiss?
But this doesn't disqualify her from getting a makeover of her own. The Princess and the Frog Star grew up in New Orleans and belongs to an African-American background. Artist Let There Be Doodles decided to give Tiana a completely different look, which prompted him to turning her into a Japanese princess. While Tiana's hairstyle mostly stayed the same, her hair was darkened and her curls were straightened out. Her dark hair was switched for a tanned beige, and her eyes were narrowed out and darkened. darkened as well. To make the transformation all the more impressive, Tiana's dress was turned into a pink kimono. Is this makeover something or what? We're having a hard time picking a favorite, that's for sure. Pocahontas. If there's one Disney movie we don't get tired of watching, it's Pocahontas. This beautifully animated movie gave birth to one of the strongest female characters ever. Pocahontas is beautiful, kind, and tough, making her a force to be reckoned with. Once again, Tumblr artist Let There Be Doodles reimagined our favorite Disney princess in a very fitting way. Pocahontas, who is of Native American descent, was transformed into a Hawaiian beauty. Her dark hair stayed the same shade, however, some wave was added to it. The princess's eyes were rounded out, as was her chin. On top of that, her skin tone was lightened by a few shades, and her trademark necklace was swapped for a seashell one. Can you recognize Pocahontas from this picture, or is the makeover far too drastic? Mulan. If there's one Disney princess who isn't afraid to take on the world, it's Mulan. This selfless character put her life and honor on the line to stop her father from having to go to war.
You shouldn't have to go.
Mulan is a Chinese princess who is typically seen wearing a keepy and trying to act ladylike. However, the brave young girl prefers to dress in less restrictive clothing. Tumblr artist Let There Be Doodles chose to reimagine Mulan as a Native American woman, and his rendition of her is absolutely gorgeous. Mulan's black hair was tied into two long braids and adorned by a white feather. She was given tribal clothing, darker skin, rounder eyes, and wider lips. All in all, Mulan looks like a completely different person. Cinderella. Perhaps one of Let There Be Doodles' most drastic transformations is the one befit by Cinderella. This princess is said to live somewhere in France, which would explain her pale complexion and blonde hair. The artist behind this transformation decided to turn Cinderella into a geisha. Cinderella's blonde hair became black and her face was painted white with highlights of red makeup. Her eyes were narrowed and changed to a black color. To complete her new look, her dress was turned into a gorgeous kimono. Can you recognize this princess at first glance? Rapunzel. Last but not least is the much anticipated Rapunzel. This Disney princess is typically seen wearing her pink dress and long blonde hair.
Are you all tired from chasing this bad man all over the place?
However, Let There Be Doodles had something different planned for her. Her dress was transformed into a flower-embroidered Spanish gown. Her blonde hair was darkened to brown, as were her green eyes. To make her transformation more legitimate, a great number of flowers were added to her hair. Are you totally in love with these transformations? If so, let us know which Disney princess you thought looked the best in the comments. Before you go, don't forget to check out Crafty Hackers. If you love Disney, you'll absolutely love all Disney DIY videos that'll help you turn your everyday objects into Disney-themed clothing. Make sure you give them a big thumbs up. And that's a wrap. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to The Things for more amazing content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.